This is part 2 of an interview with Andy Smith. In part 1, he discussed professors on public assistance. During his decade of contingent teaching, his family relied on food stamps.
Okay, contingent faculty in the South, and I'm speaking of the public university system in Tennessee in particular, incomes are under $20,000 a year generally, and this is teaching a 3-3 load as an adjunct faculty member. Oftentimes, we have two situations that are common in Tennessee. One situation is full-time job outside of the profession, oftentimes a mixed job, a jobby job, and then the teaching in addition to that. The other situation is a two-family situation, two-earner household, where the professor, the adjunct professor, is the second income, and the husband or wife has a better paying job. And then the other situation, too, is basically teaching at multiple institutions, but not really telling the other institutions to avoid any kind of legal problems that might be incurred for the faculty member or for the institution in terms of federal labor laws and the such. So I'm going to teach 3 classes over here, and then 3 classes over there, and then maybe 2 classes over there. And I have known a faculty member to teach an 8-8 course load at multiple institutions. I'm not exaggerating here at all. I think 8-8 is the most I've known someone to teach. And then basically just living out of the trunk of your car the entire time, and I mean sleeping clearly as a non-permanent faculty member. I became familiar with the most affordable hotels in the towns where I was teaching, and the which professors' couches I could crash on, who had a guest room that they would let me stay in once or twice a week, because when you're commuting over an entire region, there's their whole burnout factor in terms of your own ability to perform well in the classroom. So after a full day of teaching, sometimes if you've got appointments or other obligations on campus the next day, you would spend the night at a friend's and be able to get caught up with your grading or work in the library or conferencing. Understand that this has an element of shame, shame, shame when we show the actual statistics and the actual facts to our administrators, to our faculty colleagues, to our politicians. This is a very charged and very political issue. But the adjunct instructors that I have known are enthusiastic and energetic and excel in the classroom. But one of the things that you see from the student's perspective is they develop a relationship with a faculty member for whom that relationship cannot be sustained. The faculty member is not around to write that letter of recommendation later that's needed. That faculty member, you can't take me for any other classes, you only teach freshman writing. When can I take you again? It's never possible to take me after the freshman year. I don't teach anything, and that's even true of my full-time tenure track position now. I don't teach anything above freshman level classes. Access, really, I think, to the faculty members' life outside of the classroom. You don't actually get to see them ever. Even the ones that are conferencing, I've known them to set up conferences in cafes, in study rooms in the library. One school I know set up a non-permanent faculty member office for rent, sort of, because they actually, some of them had offices. They had their offices, but the campus was huge, and so they had you in the little trailer park on the far hinterland of campus, and then so they set up this in the main building where most of the classes met. They set up this sort of, office for rent, and you could sign up on the door when you would be meeting students in that office, and they've set up one office for probably 50 non-permanent faculty members, and they could sort of rotate in and out of that office, and that became sort of just for meeting with students after class, for example. It's very important not to develop this, poor me stance that is so easily justifiable given our situation, to be the oppressed we are oppressed, but I think we shouldn't accept that. We should be proactive, and we should take our rights and seize our opportunities to. I believe really, truly, that no matter what your situation, that you have to collaborate with your peers. You need to, if not be organized, if your institution does not have a union, but you've got to have an association, a way in which to collaborate with your peers. And moreover, if there isn't one, you should form one. You should be engaging with your colleagues, and you should be talking to your professors, who, the ones that maybe you are afraid of, that you think have in your department, that think you guys are the gum on the bottom of the shoe. That we've been marginalized, but we don't have to stay on the margins. And if we are organizing on the margins, we should make the margins the center. Clearly, if you want to have a full-time or permanent job in earning between $15,000 and $30,000 a year, there are better jobs than academia. For me, lack of job security and lack of faculty governance rights have been the two things that have hurt us the most. For me personally, more than the low wages, though I think the low wages, we can't underestimate the importance of that. But yeah, there's a lot of jobs out there. I know I'll say this, the last thing. Walmart, I think, is the model for the future of American capitalism, and it's a very frightful model. And I'm very afraid that universities are adopting this kind of corporate subcontract kind of model. But the professor who was on the market for years and finally said, well, I could get a job, for example, at Borders or Barnes & Noble. I know books, this is my field, I can sell books and I can have benefits and make in that 15 to 30 range for the rest of my life. I know professors who have left the field to basically work at a chain bookstore.